from Paul Deacon. You remember the havoc that he caused for Salford a week ago. He's gone deep again, it's right over the top and it's out on the full. Not the start that Paul Deacon had 7 days ago.
Certainly went for it, a little doubted inside his mind, and it was well left. Tremendous call by all those three there. Leave it, they get the start they wanted to the Wolves.
Penalty on halfway.
And look at that support behind the post that they will be attacking in the first stanza.
Yes, that is the end that Warrington are attacking. It's the end that Warrington's fans are massed, and they're watching here as Wainwright takes the first tackle of this first set of 6. Bridge finds Mark Gleeson. It goes on to Paul Wood, and Wood cannot get through because there are 3 waiting there. Lynch and Brett Ferris. Mark Gleeson comes this way and finds Chris Bridge. He delays the pass, gives it to Toa Koilov, and Toa Koilov goes down on tackle number 3. Richie Barnett at dummy half. First touch of the ball for him. Here is Bridge again. Flicks the ball back to big Paul Rahihi.
They're keeping their skipper Lee Breers out of the action so far. Will he want the ball on this occasion?
It's here with Bridge now. Bridge taking them on up the middle. Vanganar is there, Ferris is there again, and also Chris McKenna. Last tackle, Warrington 5 metres away. Here is Breers. Good ball wide. It's Gleeson. Great defence though from Leslie Vinacolo.
It had to be as well. He took the huge gamble of coming in on the angle. They had the overlap, but they could not get it past the big fella. The volcano wrapped him up. Great pass though, wasn't it, from Lee Breers? Bang! Look at that!
Magnificent defence from Leslie Vinacolo. That's the way it looks head to head over the years in league meetings. And as you can see, Bradford not the happiest of hunting grounds for Warrington on their travels. But this season, 2-1 they lead in the series, and Bradford here with an injury to Andy Lynch.
Well, this will be a massive blow for the Bulls because he's perhaps been their most consistent performer in that go-forward zone. He's taken the team, gained valuable metres, and he seems to have taken a nasty knock in that tackle. Westwood it is, spins him round. Paul Wood, you can see 3 men committed to him. And the Bulls need to hope that he gets back up on his feet. Oh, it's perhaps the hamstring.
Well, Andy Lynch, some would say, unfortunate not to be named in the Great Britain Tri-Nations party, and it's a huge blow this for Steve McNamara, because Andy Lynch, he missed out on the grand final last year, and Brian Noble hasn't, as I say, picked him for Great Britain this year, and he's the Bradford Bulls Player of the Year in 2006. Such is seen to be his importance to this side. But immediately, and a very early change going to have to be made here, Carl Price is going to come on.
Well, that is a bitter blow to the Bulls outfit. They haven't started well. Remember, they gave a penalty away from the kick-off. Paul Deacon, far too strong. Went dead in goal, and this looks quite serious.
Obviously a major problem with the leg. Is it the hamstring? Is it the ankle? Is it the knee?
I think it's the ankle here.
Dr. McRae, any ideas?
It's a lower leg injury of some kind. You see, when a physio goes on the field and the player gives them an indication straight away what's going on, and the physio has just signalled straight to the touchline for a stretcher, you know it's a very serious injury. The way that she's holding the leg indicates a lower leg injury, perhaps ankle, perhaps even a, you know, it's hard to say whether it's a fracture or not, but Andy Lynch certainly was in a lot of discomfort, and he certainly got that leg caught underneath, and you'll see the grimace on the face about there, and that is not very good for the player, and it's certainly not good for Bradford when you consider that you need to rotate your front rowers, in particular a player like Joe Vanganar, who's a big man and needs 2 or 3 spells in this game. He may have to play a little bit of extra time. I suspect Ben Harris will go into the back row here. They'll push somebody up front, and I think Carl Price will come and probably play in the centre.
Well, Sam Burgess is a prop forward, but he is only 17 years of age. It's maybe a bit early for Steve McNamara to take that course of action, as the stretcher bearers take Andy Lynch from the field. The other option, of course, is Chris McKenna. He could maybe move it into the centres. There are all sorts of options. And Shontaine Harpy could move into the pack, because that's where he played in the Tri-Nations final last year. So there are all sorts of options open to Steve McNamara, but this is a disruptive blow to the champions.
Certainly is. They have not got into the swing of things, but Steve McNamara has done the right thing and not risk the youngster to go out there. It's going to be rough and tough in the opening 20 minutes.
It's the last tackle here for Bradford. It's the kick from Paul Deacon. And Deacon hits the deck. The Bradford supporters say that he was taken late, but Mr. Silverwood checks with the touch judges and says play on, and Farfili drives it forward.
That's a key area for Bradford tonight. Westwood and Logan Swan trying to put pressure on Deacon. If you don't, both Deacon and Harris have got fantastic kicks, and they have won so many games for the Bulls by the accuracy of those kicks.
Westwood will drive it forward here for Warrington.
Well, the man that was playing the ball there was lucky not to be penalised. Okay, it wasn't a a hard shot, but he certainly came late. Trailed the arm right round the neck of Paul Deacon.
Briers dabs the ball behind Michael Withers, and it will just run too deep eventually, but there was only inches in it. Bradford will restart with a tap on the 20-metre line, and here they come with Leslie Vinacolo, and he will now maybe be used as the sixth forward also. Here is Chris McKenna.
Well, they often use him as a seventh forward, don't they? He likes nothing better than to come in looking for the football in the middle of the park.
Marcus Bai,
that's
big
fantastic,
challenge.
Eddie. But Ben Westwood singled him out. He knew what Bai was going to do. Got off the line so quickly.
Vangenaar will rumble it forward. He plays the ball to Terry Newton. Here is Euston Harris. Euston Harris threw a couple. Up, of course, against the club where it all started for him, Euston Harris.
Warrington going far too high. Nobody's going for the legs.
Great ball from Newton. Better ball from Deacon. Ball is picked up. Remarkable try from Michael Withers. A truly memorable Bradford ball try. Michael Withers with a touchdown. But that was a fantastic team play. They just would not let that ball die. He might be Wigan bound. This will be his farewell appearance at Odsal. But Michael Withers has come up with a priceless try for the champions here, bearing in mind that Andy Lynch is off the field and injured.
Terry Newton, far too much space to run. Deacon in the support play. They took the risk. They kept it alive. Withers said, I'll take the four. But Warrington, they were caught out on two occasions going far too high. No one going for the legs. Good offload, good support. But they can't allow this man, Terry Newton, to control things in and around the ruck area.
Paul
Rip
Deacon,
you apart.
Paul Deacon here not only lining up the conversion but lining up a personal milestone. If this goes over, it's 2,000 points in rugby league, and it is 2,000 for Deacon, 2001 to be accurate, and a try for Michael Withers, and Bradford leads 6-0.
Full credit to them, they were shocked with the removal of the big prop forward Andy Lynch.
Do you know what? This is no surprise here. Warrington knew this. Bradford have scored more tries on the last tackle than any other team in Super League. They're working it so hard, whether it's through the kicks or through the hands. Withers comes up with his seventh, and that isn't a surprise to Warrington, but a major disappointment.
Paul Wood is the first man to tackle Brad Myers. They won just 4 of the last 13 in Super League, Warrington, prior to that victory at Headingley. They also had lost 9 in a row away from home. The 18-17 victory brings them here to Odsal. They trail 6-0.
Bit of basic rugby league needed now by the Warrington side just to keep their composure, not to get too excited. But Paul Cullen surely must have got the message out. Fellas, it's okay trying to stop the man with the ball, but they're allowing Newton to run yet again.
Yes, Terry Newton could be the key figure tonight in the Tri-Nations squad. This is only his 20th appearance of the year. The ball is with Deacon, and his kick downfield finds its way into the arms of former teammate Stuart Reardon. Big hit by Myers. This is Richie Barnett. Harris was very quickly out of the line. Bridge to Mike Wainwright. It's a forward pass.
Lack of concentration. That's the only thing I can think of. Wainwright just half a step in front. Not the best. There's one thing just slowing things down. Sean McRae And there's another time just losing your marbles.
Well, Steve-O, that's what this Bradford side can do to you. They make plenty of yards, plenty of metres. They finish off their set pretty well, and then you're almost recovering with your next set because you've worked so hard to try to pull these guys to the floor and get numbers in the tackle. Your next set can sometimes be a recovery set, and that's got Warrington into trouble. They just weren't set in terms of any shape or width.
Joe Vangenaar was standing out of the scrum then. The prop forward was actually standing at standoff. And here is Terry Newton attacking down the left-hand side. Gets the ball away. It's Shontaine Harpy for the champions, who are grounded about 6 metres away from the Warrington line. He plays the ball. It's with Harris. Now it's with Deacon. Looks for the runner. And the runner is McKenna. Here is Brett Ferris. Bradford have started in great fashion here. Myers. This is Terry Newton. Newton delaying, giving it eventually to Ben Harris. And Harris! He's hauled down by 3 Warrington defenders. Terry Newton waits. Will he go on his own? No, he'll give it to Myers. Back it comes. Second try for Withers. They are mesmerising Warrington. And Withers with the second try. The champions playing like champions in the opening minutes here. And suddenly the 5,000 fans are looking a bit glum.
Beautiful set move. No fluke about that. They knew exactly what they were doing. Utilised the dummy runner to such an extent. Came about from the forward pass to Wainwright. They get the possession. Newton is having the time of his life out there. Couldn't hold his fella Ben Harris down, but watch the set pattern move. He looks to go to the blind side. He ain't going that way. Turn around, twist. That was executed to perfection. Ferris just turned around and just sucked them all in.
And yet again, it's a try on the very last tackle. They get into good field position, and then they have players who make themselves dangerous. Withers can't believe it. 2 tries so quickly in a match.
Withers can't believe it. I don't think Warrington can believe it. I don't think their supporters can, but Bradford Bulls fans can.
You know, Bradford, though, have been by far the best team in the opening quarter of games this season. They've scored so many tries, and again, you see just why the begin match is so powerful.
Bradford ahead, 12-0.
Perfect. 3 players. The man just turns and spins. The gap is so wide. You're going to build a house there.
Paul Cullen knows he has a crisis to handle here. And Michael Withers has just run in his 8th try in the last 5 matches. What a bit of form he's found coming into the playoffs. And that's out on the fall. It's getting worse. 10 minutes gone, 12-0.
Well, Bradford did it right from the kick-off, and now Breers has joined in the party. I mentioned earlier, Eddie, that the way that Warrington have played it, they have kept Lee Breers well and truly out of the action. It was obvious, and they made it quite clear. Steve McNamara, the Bradford coach, midweek said that all we have to do is shut him down, and we've got Warrington beat.
And that's Shontaine Harpy, who takes the tackle out on the far side. Vinacolo comes inside and finds Harris. Here is Myers. Warrington defenders not quite in the face of Bradford as they were against Leeds a week ago. Deacon. And Wainwright went for him. He missed him, but Mark Gleeson was there to finish him off. Here is Terry Newton. Withers again on a hat-trick suddenly. The tackle round the legs this time by Breers. It's on the last tackle. And Newton's being allowed to run again. Oh, it's a wicked bounce. And it's a good job that Logan Swan was there, but look where Warrington are, right on their own try line. And still, faultless by Bradford, 6 tackles missed by Warrington already.
They haven't made 1 metre forward from the time that they got possession, Warrington. It's good working from the first and second markers. They are really crunching the Wolves.
Crisis here for Warrington. Rahihi to drive it forward, only as far as Ferris and co. Bradford, a welter of possession in the opening 11 3/4 minutes. That's why they lead 12-0. And Breers will hammer the ball downfield, but straight into the arms of Vinacolo. Let's get news of Andy Lynch, who's off the field injured. Bill.
Well, how cruel can life be? This time last weekend, Andy Lynch was celebrating the birth of his first child. I said congratulations to him before the kick-off this evening, and he was really bubbly and confident and looking forward to this one. Now he's back in that dressing room and the diagnosis is a broken left ankle. So Andy Lynch, I think, can kiss goodbye to a Tri-Nations this autumn, and he's looking instead at probably 12 weeks, maybe more, recovering from that injury. A really cruel blow.
Yes, it can be a game full of glorious moments. It can also be full of cruelty, and our thoughts go to Andy Lynch. He was in the 10-man standby squad for Great Britain. This is Newton's kick to the in-goal area, and Stuart Reardon is able to allow the ball to run dead in goal.
Well, it's his show at the moment. Nearly 13 minutes gone, and Terry Newton, the hooker, is just having the time of his life out there. Warrington are just hanging back. They're getting confused every time he gets the ball. And to add to it, Terry Newton's defence has been absolutely spot on too.
Rahehe will get to his feet, plays the ball to Mark Gleeson. Here is Paul Wood, gets it to the 40-metre line. Not good news for Brian Noble, the Great Britain coach, that Andy Lynch is out of his standby squad, you would think. But here is a 40-20 from Lee Briers. It just doesn't make it. Vainikolo did really well and flings the ball inside to Michael Withers. Well, that was so close for Briers, but how cool is Big Leslie?
Unbelievable. Well, you'd have thought he was just taking the dog for a walk in the park there, ambling down, and said, oh, well, it hasn't gone over yet. It looked for all the world a superb 40-20 from Briers.
I think the kick, though, has given Warrington the lift they needed. They weren't at all the bubbly side that we saw in the second half, particularly against Leeds last week. They were more in a case of survival mode, and they need to get back into the game quickly, otherwise Bradford's efficiency can very often kill a match in the first half.
That's a great kick from Deacon, and it means that Reardon will have to run the ball back. And look at the chase, led by Chris McKenna and led by Brett Ferris.
Well, the one thing that the Wolves really needed was that 40-20 to go over the whitewash. Failed to do that. They've got the penalty.
Offside, says the referee Richard Silverwood. And that's a relieving penalty for Warrington. They'd have mortgaged the stadium if they could have been given this.
Well, they weren't standing square that they play the ball, that's for sure.
Little problem there for Terry Newton, I think. He's limping a bit.
Isn't he?
In the defensive line there, though. Warrington will restart with Bridge. He finds Michael Wainwright. Mike Wainwright in his testimonial year. Steve-O and I had the privilege of being at one of his functions last weekend. This is Mark Gleeson. Now it's Ben Westwood. Play on, says Mr. Silverwood. They were shouting for obstruction there. This is Logan Swan, and Martin Gleeson gets the ball to Farfili, but great defence from Leslie Vainikolo again. Logan Swan finds Paul Wood. Wood will fire the pass to Briers, and Briers long and wide, and well claimed by Carl Price.
Sheer frustration, that's all it is. And when you've got a side coming at you so quickly in defence as Bradford are doing in this game, you're always going to be prey to the intercept, and that is what they've done.
Well, Carl Price is about 6'7".
Pretty hard to take it over the top, isn't it?
Yes, if there's one way you would not go, it's down this right-hand channel now with Carl Price there.
Also, you've got to understand as well that Lee Briers was looking for the second phase. There was none coming. They're all in one straight line. They're very flat in attack.
Penalty now for Bradford.
But Steve-O, the point is they had an opportunity to build some pressure. The pass from Lee Briers is a poor option. It doesn't matter whether it was on or wasn't on. It was just a poor option. He could have dropped someone off inside. He could have taken the line on himself. But he's just put his team under pressure. And this is what Warrington have done tonight so far. They've just not built any pressure at all. The aggression we saw last week against Leeds is not there in defence, because Bradford have had all the ball and all the field position, and they are a very difficult side to stop. But then they're making so many metres in every set of six. Warrington have got to find a way to stay in the game. The only way to do that is to get the ball, take it away from Bradford and complete their sets.
Ben Harris, tackled by Martin Gleeson. Plays the ball quickly to Terry Newton. Here is Leslie Vainikolo. Leslie Vainikolo, so close to that touchline, and Warrington defending as if their lives depend on it, and maybe they do here in the playoffs. This is Deacon, looping pass from him to Withers. Withers is wrapped up by Bridge, but still gets the ball away to McKenna. McKenna then back to Carl Price, and Carl Price goes through Coelho and bounces out of another. Support is there from Deacon, and Deacon will score for Bradford. given it yet.
Check, see if there's any obstruction there.
He wants to check any obstruction, but it didn't look like anything from up here.
They're paying the price here at Warrington for not getting the man down very quickly with the ball. This is very poor defence indeed. They should have closed him down. Nothing wrong with it at all. No way. They may claim all they want, but there was nothing going to stop Deacon. This will be TRY time. And boy, the Wolves, they're not looking hungry. They're looking starved.
Paul Deacon's try is given, the third try that Warrington have conceded early in the opening quarter of this match. And at 18-0, which it surely will be after this kick from Paul Deacon, and the way this game is opening up, you cannot see at the moment Warrington getting back in.
Well, the game was a very familiar feel to last week when the Bulls annihilated the Salford Reds. If a game of rugby league was only played over 20 minutes, the Bradford Bulls would be by far the best team in this country. But the only hope really for Warrington and their fans who've made the journey here is the fact that there are another 60 minutes to go, and the Wolves definitely have time to get back in it.
They have. It's too early to write any team off with only a quarter gone.
You've got to get your defence right. They did against Leeds last week. But when you come out of the line, Chris Bridge did that, and then he was very slow to put himself back into that line, and a little step and power. But it is poor defence. Fantastic support play. That's been a feature of Bradford over the past 2 weeks. Deacon.
Intelligent kick-off. This time they've found the ball on the right side of the whitewash. Went short, did Lee Breers. The ball bounces out. It's going to be head and feet at the scrum to the Warrington Wolves.
It's the same short kick that he did successfully at Warrington last week. It's come off with maybe the turning point. 18 minutes gone, 18 points down. Can Warrington start from here?
It was exactly the same score after exactly the same amount of time in the match here against Salford City Reds last week, and that is a bad sign for Warrington. Mark Gleeson waits at dummy half, and he finds Logan Swan.
Second move.
They've got to camp down in the Bradford quarter. They've got to make sure that they apply the pressure. It's something they haven't done in this game.
This is Paul Rahihi.
Back and hold.
Mark Gleeson finds Lee Breers. Now Chris Bridge. And Bridge to Wainwright. Gets the ball away. Was it a knock-on? Was it a knock-on?
Yes.
The touch judge confirms it was.
Well, the standoff is not impressed. We'll see here. I think he took it on the half volley. That should be okay. Warrington fans don't like it. I think he's got this on half volley. Yep. Let it bounce first, and then he just grabbed it. That is a poor call from the touch judge here on the near side. Wasn't the man in the middle, Richard Silverwood. He had to take advice. It's just not going their way, Warrington.
Well, our camera then didn't really give us a clear view of that, but the touch judge was absolutely convinced it was a knock-on.
Either way, Eddie, it was a high-risk play from Warrington early in the tackle count. On one of the few occasions they've had a chance to attack and possibly put some pressure on the Bradford side. High-risk play, offload. There you see. Well, I'm not so sure. I think it possibly was a knock-on.
And Phil, that comes from the scoreboard, doesn't it? You're down 18-0. You look at the scoreboard and think, right, we have to score next. We've got to be the team that gets on that scoreboard. So you tend to take risks. Now, sometimes those risks will come off, and other times they'll compound themselves and just give Bradford the football. Like, that may have been a tough call. It's hard to say. I've got to say, the touch judge is in a much better position than us to make that call. But that's the problem that Warrington have now got. They've got this mindset of they're going to start to offload the ball, try and keep it alive. It may come off for them, but they're being forced to take risks. Yet I'd like to see them just build pressure, stay in the game, be patient, and starve Bradford of some football, and then they'll start to get some momentum and get down the field and really be able to score points.
Well, here they will get further down the field because they have a penalty.
Ben Harris going right over the shoulder, right into the face.
Yes, it's a high shot that he's been penalised for, Ben Harris.
Well, I've been shouting for it. The Wolves have to camp down there. Get that tourniquet turn and see what they can come up with. We know they've got the quality of it.
Here's Rob Parker, who is another former Bull. Mark Gleeson, Lee Breers, Reardon. Ball went backwards.
Play on.
Play on. Breers fires the pass to Bridge. And Bridge tries to go up the middle himself. Ferris is round his shoulders. Bridge still going. Wainwright. And that's Parker, is it? Yes, it is. Underneath the posts on the third tackle. Warrington's best chance so far. Breers will score. Lee Breers for Warrington. They needed to score next. They had.
Well, they're a dramatic team that might be staging a dramatic comeback right here now. Lee Breers getting his side back into this game. Do you know, don't forget, Bradford are going to have to play this game without their best forward, Andy Lynch. He's now missing injured, and Lee Breers knows getting the team back into this game is the start.
Good work, quick play the ball and the glance there. Utilised the dummy runner. Corey Love came in very, very tight, and he was sufficient to do it. Logan Swan, should I say, was a dummy runner. All came about by the high shot. The penalty was given. The first real occasion that they have put the Bradford side under pressure, and Lee Breers is the man.
Well, it was the important penalty that Bradford conceded on the halfway line that's given Warrington a chance. One of the very few we've seen in this half. 3 tackles close to the opponent's line, and Lee Breers doing what he needs to do more if he wants to be the best player in this country. Taking on the defensive line, his 9th but perhaps most important try in 2006.
And this is a pretty important kick as well for Lee Breers. Second behind Jamie Lyon in the weekly goal-kicking charts. He adds the extras. Warrington, do they begin the comeback? Remember, they are the comeback kings. Wakefield were 21-0 up in March, and Warrington won.
Look how important. There's Logan Swan in the blue arrow. Breers takes it just on the outside. Goes low. No chance of stopping. Great work. They're happy. They needed something.
They've suddenly found their voice. And Breers has suddenly found a try. Deacon restarts for the Bradford Bulls. Not going quite as deep this time. And it's with Reardon. Well, that will put a little bit of a spring in the Warrington Wolves step, Sean.
It certainly will, and it was a tremendous decoy run by Logan Swan. That took a lot of pressure off Lee Breers. The defenders were committed to Logan Swan. They couldn't really go off him until they were sure he wasn't getting the football, and Lee Breers ran a really good angle, and it was at pace, and he scored the try. But that's what I was talking about. If you're just patient with a side like Bradford, they will start to open up. They do fatigue because they're a big side. They won't fatigue if you're turning football over. If you just complete sets against them, you will then start to be able to make plenty of yardage up the middle of the ruck, and that will allow the game to open up for you.
That's a big kick down the middle of the field from Lee Breers. It bounces unkindly for Marcus Pye. The chasers have arrived. He went straight at little Mark Gleeson then, but Paul Wood was there to reinforce him. Here is Vinacolo. Big Leslie is halted by 3. Well, the Bradford Bulls won it from 3rd last year. Can they do it this year from 4th?
A lot more aggression now in the Warrington defence. They needed it, and they needed it badly. And that try from Breers has just taken the polish off this Bradford outfit so far. They're going to look a little bit rusty at the moment. Will it be a kick in the corner? It is.
It's a kick down there which will stand in the field of play, and Reardon tries to cut inside McKenna, but Carl Price was there. The NRL have reached grand final day. It's in the morning, 9:30 on Sky Sports 3. Chris Warren will lead the team, and Sean McRae's on his way south to our studios in London to join Tolson Tollett and Tony Ray for Melbourne against Brisbane in the morning. As I said last night, it's a Sean McRae-a-thon on Sky Sports this weekend.
Very much looking forward to it, let me say. It'll be a great game.
It will. 25.5 minutes gone here. Bradford 18-6 ahead. And this is Ben Westwood for the Warrington Wolves. On the last tackle, he will play the ball to Mark Gleeson. It'll go back to Lee Breers. Breers shaped to kick. And now he does kick. Hammers the ball downfield. I think he's just trying to get out of trouble here. And he will set the defensive line and allow Bradford to restart on the 20-metre mark.
Well, it was put under a lot of pressure, and it was neat work from Breers. Nice little step, got out of it. The biggest problem there is that he had no other option but to put in the kick, because none of his side realised he was going to do something on his solo effort.
The Bradford Bulls have great playoff pedigree. They won't surrender their title easy. They've not lost outside Old Trafford in playoff football since losing 40-12 at Wigan 6 years ago, but they've just surrendered the ball here. And Warrington have another chance with Rob Parker.
That was good impact, but was it reefed out at the same time? I think Westwood had a little bit of a left hand in there, got away with it.
Henry Farfili for Warrington. Stands in the tackle, shrugs off one. Ferris comes back for a second snap.
The Bulls know they're in a scrap now.
Well, it would be very interesting if Warrington scored the next try. Breers back on the inside. Reardon tackled by Ferris, high penalty.
Will they take the two? Knowing Lee Breers, he'll pump it into the corner, I think.
Well, at 12-6 he might have gone for the two, because that's what they did last week. 18-6, I think they might go for pressure.
And they're looking pretty good too. I think they've seen anyway, certainly, the best that Bradford have to offer tonight in the opening 25 minutes. Bradford perhaps looking a little sluggish now, and Warrington have found some energy.
Well, I think that Paul Cullen realises they haven't had much possession in this Bradford attacking zone.
Remember Andy Lynch off the field with a broken ankle suspected, we believe. That could come back to haunt Bradford late on as the players start to tire, as inevitably they will with this atmosphere and the intensity of this match. Bridge, they have men wide, one of them is Barnett. Barnett will come back in field because he was very tight to the touchline then. The tackle from Yistin Harris. Toa Koila in field to Paul Wood, who takes them on.
Now
Ferris and Myers doing a lot of tackling.
Watch for the second phase. Will he use a dummy runner yet again?
Breers touched in flight. 6 to go.
Oh, they panicked and got away with it. I don't think Koalov realised that he'd gone and waved the official 6 more.
So here come Warrington again. Concerted pressure with Westwood.
Second move.
Just hauled down by Ferris. Michael Sullivan is on the field. Sullivan went for glory, just held up short. Paul Wood, back it comes to Breers. Here is Chris Bridge. Chris Bridge will fire the pass to Koilov. Can't get away from Price. Dumps it back to Bridge again. Bridge looks for the runners. He arrives in the shape of Martin Gleeson. And Bradford with all hands to the pumps to keep them out. Sullivan again at dummy half. Fires the pass to Lee Breers. Lee Breers goes wide looking for Farfili. It's a try if he's onside. It's a try if Farfili's onside.
He's got to
and
give
he
it.
is. He doesn't go to the video referee. And Henry Farfili from the kick from Breers. And Warrington are back in the match. They're in the hunt.
Well, he tried it earlier. It was deflected by a Bradford hand. And Breers has just erupted. That kick-off, remember, where he gained the ball over the 10-metre line, has just turned it away on the first attempt. This was a 6 to go. They got a hand to it. It was Ben Harris. They played on and got away with it. But this time he went a bit deeper. Farfili knew exactly. I'm surprised the official has not gone to the screen on that one. Farfili's quick, but surely not that fast. He was nearly waiting for it. We'll see from here.
He's a mile on.
Oh, he looks okay.
He's a mile on top.
Yeah.
He's made himself the best player in this country for scoring in that sort of fashion because he knows to stay onside. He's learned from experience. Just be patient, wait for Lee Breers to put the ball exactly where I want it and then take up the space and catch the ball.
Here's an important kick for Breers. Slides it in towards the post and hits the post. 18-10. Warrington fighting back.
Let's see the kick into the corner, but you can see from that wide shot that he was behind the whitewash, whereas Breers had just crossed it. Good combination from the officials, the two touch judges, and the man with the whistle, Richard Silverwood. But what an effort from Farfili.
Well, 18-0 down. Warrington, now it's 18-10 and only the thickness of a post preventing it from being 18-12.
But what's a good sign for Warrington is they're starting to break one or two tackles. You saw Reardon there just burst through the first one from Myers. Bit of a quicker play of the ball. They're actually winning some of those collisions, which in the opening quarter they were clearly losing.
I tell you what, also, if you see the way Leslie Vainicolo turned to try and defuse that Lee Breers kick to the corner, they told us last week, Bradford, he goes into hospital at the end of the season for an operation on the knee again. He's not involved in the Tri-Nations. Big Leslie doesn't look 100%. Warrington fighting their way back in. Breers with the kick behind the defence again, but Withers collects that. And the man who scored the opening 2 tries for Bradford comes back at the Warrington Wolves again.
Will he be happy, Lee Breers, is the fact that all the kicks he can get downfield, if it bounces on the turf, that gives them vital moments to get their chase in order.
Well, prior to last year, Warrington had lost 13 consecutive away games at the Bradford Bulls, but they won here 44-24 in May 2005, 22-18 in April this year, and they lost 50 points to 22 here last month. But they won't be lacking in confidence, and of course they were beaten by 50 points by Leeds earlier this season before they did to them what they did last week.
Now will we see Bradford just take it nice and casual? They know they got the kicking game. Deacon says we'll put it in the corner, we're happy with that.
That's a great kick. That's a fantastic kick.
Oh, it could have been penalised.
Well, he stood up in the end.
He took a long time though. Ben Harris was screaming at the official. That was a voluntary tackle, no doubt about it.
Isn't it only a voluntary tackle if he gets up and plays the ball, isn't it? If he can stay there and something's got to happen, so I think he's got to play the ball before they can call it a voluntary tackle.
I don't think that's 100% correct, Sean. I don't think so.
If you're in possession, that means you've brought the player back into it, you go to ground. That means that you've got to try and bring the ball back into play.
Well, he did eventually, Stuart Reardon. Breers kick downfield, and it goes between Withers and Marcus Bai. That's a good kick, and Withers will run it back. Good chase from Warrington too, led by Westwood.
He's got into gear, hasn't he, Lee Breers? We didn't see much of him. Warrington were just keeping him quiet, keeping him out of the way. They knew that Bradford were going to pinpoint him. They were trying to just crunch him out of the match, but slowly but surely. And you've got to go back to that kickoff. That has lifted his spirits.
This is Vangenaar for the Bradford Bulls.
And the Bradford Bulls probably are the most patient side in this country. Maybe 5 years of going to the grand final has taught them that patience does pay in the end. They'll just work upfield, control it, and then they'll put their efforts into this kick and the chase on the back of it.
Here's the kick from Justin Harris, straight up in the air and right down the throat of Stuart Reardon.
Poor kick.
Justin Harris, who has retired from international football, but did I read on the website this week he's thinking of playing for Wales this autumn against Scotland?
Yeah, he's thrown his hand in. He said he...
It seems a strange decision.
Yeah.
And even with a former Scotland coach in the commentary box, Mr. Sean McRae, I'm sure that seems strange to you as well, Sean.
Well, I don't know how you can be retired from international football and then play international football, but perhaps you become unretired.
Well, maybe he's hung his boots up for Great Britain, but not for Wales. Sullivan with a little scamper. Oh, he lost it.
He was looking to offload.
When you talked though, Steve, we saw Bradford lose at Wigan and they were exploited around that dummy half area. I think Warrington wants Sullivan to do that. I know he lost possession on that, but looking dangerous now in the next 5 minutes to half-time, picking up those dummy half runs.
Well, he's certainly got the speed, and that's the reason why Paul Cullen has thrown him into the fray. But he won't be too impressed with the ability. But not just on that occasion. There wasn't a good support player there as well. They've got to be aware that he's quite quick from the dummy half area. Silly play.
Logan Swan penalised for a second snap at the tackled player. There was a hand on the ball there, you could see it quite clearly.
It amazes me they do all the hard work and just do something stupid.
Vangenaar, back he goes to Deacon. On the charges, young Sam Burgess.
I think Bradford now will just launch himself towards the post and try something, a set move perhaps.
This is Chris McKenna, and Chris Bridge was all over him like a terrier. Justin Harris, Brett Ferris.
Now they will to do the run around.
It's Terry Newton, caused havoc, and Deacon clattered to the ground. Newton again, ball goes to ground, back to zero in the tackle count. Referee wipes the tackle count clean. Big moments here for Warrington's defence. Newton, and it's a knock on by Chris McKenna.
McKenna is screaming at the hooker, Terry Newton. It should have come to start with. not the dummy and try to go around the man.
It was a forward pass anyway.
Yep.
The scrum goes down, Warrington will have head and feed.
It was always going to be that way. He was not impressed, the second rower.
Well, at 18-0, Bradford looked well on the way east to Hull next Friday. Now it's 18-10. It's a whole new ball game. 3 minutes to half-time. Logan Swan almost through. And it was a penalty because Brett Ferris wouldn't release him. He wanted to get on with it quickly.
And that just indicates to me that Bradford, well, they're struggling to get their fitness levels. They've really been stunned by this fight back from Warrington. Full credit to the Wolves.
Would Bradford be a little underdone after the alleged ease anyway? They got past Salford here last week.
I think the biggest problem they've had is that they've raced into an 18-0 lead, and subconsciously they've said to each other, that's it, we're on our way on the M62 to Hull.
Well, fair play, so did I. When it's 18-0, I said they're on their way.
Yeah, you put the marker on them big time.
This is Michael Sullivan again, and here is Lee Breers. Another try here for Warrington will be very interesting. Breers will play the ball to Michael Sullivan again, and Sullivan will attack the line, gets the ball away, and Reardon is hauled down by Chris McKenna. It's Sullivan again, and Sullivan is hauled back on the last. Now then, what can Warrington conjure up here? It's with Breers again, and he showed it twice, and he's almost over the line. He went to kick twice, and he nearly fooled the defence. He's held up though over the line on the last. It'll be the turnover.
Great work, and what a great effort.
Is it Chris McKenna who dived to save that try?
It was, yeah. Right round the shoulder and just dragged him back. He's not the biggest person in the world, Lee Breers. Another extra stone he would have got over. Wonderful stuff from Chris McKenna.
He will be encouraged by Warrington's fight back. This is Vinacolo. Great tackle from Gleeson. That was Deacon, and here comes Ben Harris. Oh, and Pickersgill and company have missed him. He gets the ball away to Shontaine Harpy. Harpy then to Michael Withers. Warrington might well get the ball back, but Bradford have got an agenda of their own. They've got 3 tackles left, and they're looking for another try, and Newton gets the ball away to Harris, and Harris escapes the net, and Harris gives it to Vinacolo, and he's over the top of Sullivan, but Parker won't let him through, and they get the penalty. Well, I'll tell you what, Leslie Vinacolo might have lost that, and I think he's conned the referee here.
Well,
he has.
Well, not only that, he placed the ball down before he got up to his feet. That could have been a penalty the other way around. Not surprisingly, they're going to go for the 2 on offer.
He released him, didn't he, there, Parker?
You've got to get your tackles lower. Something you've given away. Okay,
well, he will feel he's been hard done by. There's the tackle completed. He was thinking of the offload.
Well, the ball carrying arm has hit the deck, so that's it. Okay, he's trying to get away. He should have gone
on that view, and that's what Richard Silverwood saw.
He should have gone to the side, but you could see clearly that the big fella Vinacolo had plonked the ball down well before he'd regained his feet.
Deacon then to try and add a couple of points to the Bradford total. It's got the length, it's got the distance, it's got the points. 20 points to 10. It's another rip-roaring game from the Engage Super League playoffs. This is sudden death. Whoever loses tonight bows out. Hull await the winners. After 18 minutes and 18-0, Bradford looked like they were on their way to Hull next week. But Warrington have come off the canvas and fought back. This isn't over yet. Of the season for somebody, and the march to Hull next week. 10 points the difference. Warrington aiming to go further than any other team, finishing 6th in the table after the weekly rounds has ever done before. These are the playoffs, and for one of these clubs tonight is the end of the road. That's Sam Burgess taking the second tackle of this second half. Here is Wangenaar. Remember, Bradford with the hindrance of Andy Lynch injured in the opening 3 minutes, and he will not be playing any further part in this match. A suspected broken ankle, and so Bradford have to play tonight with 16 men. Burgess again, big job for the teenager to do. Last tackle, Newton at dummy half.
Has to be a good kick, good pressure, clever work.
Give him 10! Give him 10!
And the kick from Justin Harris trickles over the dead ball line. Let's go down to the sideline because Bill Arthur has got Chris Likefall of Warrington with him.
Yeah, Eddie, Chris was very close to making this one. The calf problem still continuing a bit. 2010, but plenty of encouragement for the Wolves, Chris.
Yeah, definitely. No, 18-0. Big Joe and that were put a bit of a dent in us early, but the boys have fought back well. And if we can get a few completed sets and throw a bit of throw a bit of traffic their way, they might tire, and hopefully we can get on top of them.
Traffic in which direction? Do you see a bit of vulnerability?
Yeah, I don't know about vulnerability, but with Bradford, they're always a big pack, and that's their power, so we've got to go at them, maybe tire them out a bit, and stay in the game a bit, be a bit more patient, and if we can get the first try, it's all on again.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks a lot.
It is all on a bit again, and that was Westwood, fed by Breers on the last tackle here. And Breers from dummy half gets it to Gleeson. He finds Farfili. Farfili is bundled into touch by Big Leslie. That's been quite a contest between those two New Zealand stars.
Bit of a gamble taking that short blind. There was nowhere for him to go. Vinocola stood his ground. Now that is the region where I think that Warrington can really rip Bradford apart, and that is at the dummy half area. And I'm sure that Paul Cullen, the coach, he's fully aware of that.
Well, didn't they make very good grounding? 5 simple plays. I think it was over 50 metres, carrying it from their own 20-metre line and looking threatening in every one. So even early after that half-time break, the Warrington side do look dangerous when they run from dummy half.
And they're getting stuck in this second half here with the tackling. This is Newton. That's a great ball, though, from Newton. Burgess was on the end of the pass.
Great tackle from Wainwright.
This is Terry Newton. Terry Newton, he's being allowed to run. He's almost been given a free rein by the Warrington defenders. This is Deacon. Back it goes to Justin Harris. Ferris. And Martin Gleeson was in his face with help from Logan Swan. Ferris is brought to ground on the last one, just over halfway. And it's with Paul Deacon again. He shaped a kick. Oh, his offside is with us.
Not much in it. Not much in it at all.
What a pickup though from Withers. I know he was offside. Fantastic skill there.
Only just. Only just. Well picked up by Richard Silverwood.
Well, it's a debate, isn't it? It's was he, wasn't he? And Michael Withers is chunnering away to the referee about that decision, saying he was not offside. This is Parker.
It was a planned move.
It was. Michael Sullivan from dummy half.
He could be the key. When he came off the bench.
Well, so long as he doesn't panic, because he panicked in the last couple of minutes at Headingley last week. You may remember.
Yeah, he tried to get...
Oh, Gleeson's dropped it.
Yeah, it's a bad inside pass. And he's not too happy. Little short one. Nothing wrong with the pass. He should have got it. He took his eyes off it. But I really have a feeling that Michael Sullivan from dummy half can certainly create problems for the Bradford Bulls, especially late in the game when the big forwards will tire.
There's Sean McRae as we watch this attack from Bradford building up. I had the temerity to question your interpretation of the rules in the first half about a voluntary tackle. It is another instance here, I think, as we've been talking off air, about a difference in interpretation between Southern and Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah, and that was the question I was asking, Eddie, because when in the NRL, what they do is they allow the player a little bit of time on the ground, and the referee will tell him that he must get up and play. If he doesn't get up and play, he'll penalise him, and if alternatively gets up and plays the football, then he'll penalise him as well. But if as soon as the defender puts his hand on him, then the tackle is deemed to be a tackle. Certainly if the player gets up and plays on, then the defender is entitled to make another tackle. So I was questioning, I guess, the interpretation here.
Well, you better have a word with Brian Noble, because we'll be playing under international rules, and we all know just how confusing they can be to the players of both nations, or all three nations. Anyway, it's Bradford who are on the attack here, looking to cement their place in the next phase of these playoffs. Don't forget, those Tri-Nations matches only live on Sky Sports. Starts on grand final day with New Zealand against Australia. Knock on, says the referee, and it's Warrington feed at the scrum.
Well, they came up with the ball anyway. Mike Wainwright was very quick to get onto it. Not happy, Steve McNamara. He knows he thought that they had this game well and truly won midway through that first half.
Steve McNamara, 35 years of age, a fortnight ago, youngest coach in Super League, a former Hull player, former Bradford player, and Wakefield once upon a time as well. Penalty here to Warrington. Non-standing square.
Richie Barnett's had an amazing 6 minutes to start the second half. The work he's done from the acting half-back position, making meters, tiring the opposition, looking dangerous, and now winning a penalty.
Silly work though by loose forward Brett Ferris. Made no attempt to get squared at the play of the ball. They're just losing the plot a little bit of the Bulls.
This is Paul Rauhihi.
Okay, get square. Back up.
In centre field, Warrington. With Sullivan, now with Breers. Breers back on the inside to Reardon. Skips away from a couple, Reardon. Skips away from three, Reardon. Puts the ball away. Good hands. They've got an overlap wide. They must score, Warrington. Coe Love will score in the corner. It's a magnificent try. Toa Coe Love. And they simply kept the ball alive a la Bradford in the first half. And Toa Coe Love, once upon a time a Bradford Bulls player. Big in defence at Leeds last week. A try in the defeat here in August. And he has come up with a priceless four-pointer.
Bradford have paid the price. Two silly penalties have allowed Warrington to get into a very good position. But what about the quality from Stuart Reardon? Danced around two, then offloaded. But what about the dummy? Come on the inside. They didn't take it, to be fair, but it was enough for Carl Price just to hesitate. And that split second allowed Coelov to squeeze in at the corner. Watch this. Inside. Hesitation. He's got there. You bet. It's TRY. And this Bradford side, they are tiring.
Toa Coelov. He hardly played for Bradford when he was here. Lee Breers has nearly fallen over as he went to the side to take this conversion. He's kicked it. He hit the post earlier. Breers has kicked this one.
Well, it's as if Warrington can only score spectacular tries, helped by the fact that the penalty took them over the halfway line, but fantastic skill and speed to score out wide. So often they score in the corners. Yet again, Coelov comes up with an important one. His 11th this season. A real boost that they needed. They had to be the first team to score in the second half.
4 points the gap now. And Deacon with the deep kick-off again. Underneath the post, it's Reardon who has to take a lot of credit for that latest Warrington try. But I tried to find out about 4 times in our replay who flicked the pass off the ground quickly. And I still don't know who it was. Was it Martin Gleeson? I'm not 100% sure. But whoever it was an absolutely brilliant piece of work.
Sure was. And they've got their tails up now.
We now think it might have been Michael Wainwright. My guess at Gleeson was simply that, a guess, but apparently it was Michael Wainwright.
Paul Cullen, the Warrington coach, won't mind who we give the credit to. It's Coelov that went in. And that little shimmy to bring back the winger in the inside was just enough to make Carl Price a little bit reluctant.
Here they go again. This is Barnett. The ball inside. Wainwright. Reardon. Reardon for Warrington. The score's a level. It's pandemonium on the Warrington terrace. And Warrington have fought back. It's all square at Odsal. With a kick under the post to come, Warrington to take the lead. Stuart Reardon.
I said they were tiring, Eddie, but somebody somewhere has fed them some plum pudding or something, because Bradford have just gone back. They were hanging around. Marcus By was split with a 2-on-1. Wainwright again, the man involved. The momentum pass was okay. The crowd thought that it may have had a little bit of problems, but Bridges' pass was A-okay. And what about the cool inside pass there? And Wainwright knew he didn't have the legs. Reardon did. They're on fire. Will he add it? Will he get the extra 2? Listen to the crowd if he does.
Breers adds 2 more, And Warrington, with 2 tries in 2 minutes, have snatched the lead.
Well, this is the sort of thing that St Helens do. They score back-to-back tries with wonderful skill and fantastic speed. They've outpaced the Bulls to go the length of the field in 4 plays. And Reardon again just showing what a fantastic season he'd had at the Warrington side. Backing up importantly for that try. They really look like a class side, don't they, at the moment? If they can match their defensive effort with their attacking skill at the moment, they're going to go and win this game.
Rob Parker will drive it back. 2 points the difference now in Warrington's favour. And Lee Breers trying to keep the lid on the Warrington emotions immediately after that try. Here goes Sullivan! Sullivan's away! They go wide to Barnett on the bounce. How was that for confidence?
I'm not so sure it was the right option. Just keep possession. He was motoring with Sullivan. And they are out on the feet. Bradford are desperate, and I mean desperate, to try to just stop the...
Oh, Raheem loses the ball. It was a ferocious challenge.
I think that's the first mistake I've seen Warrington make in 11 minutes of the second half. I said it at half-time. You starve Bradford of possession, you're going to score points. Pretty obvious what this man has said at half-time. Go down the middle, play back inside. That will allow you to play laterally because they are slow around the ruck when they have to recover and get back. So Warrington are playing the right game at the moment. A little error like that from Raheem is not insignificant at the moment, but it might be if they continue to do it. They've got the ascendancy, they've got the momentum. Let's see if they can aim up defensively.
But what a great tackle it was from the young fella, Sam Burgess. Got right underneath and dislodged the football.
Yes, it was a stonking tackle. It was a la Pickersgill last week on Big Ali Lauer TT for Warrington. And has Sam Burgess just breathed a bit of life into the Bradford Bulls challenge, Phil?
Well, do you know, very often it is little things that turn games. It's not the first time Sam Burgess has done that here in the last couple of months. He has good technique. It's why so many people rate him so highly. Hits with his shoulder.
It's the last tackle here for Bradford. Deacon attacks the line, hoists it high, looking for Marcus Bly. The ball comes back and back and back, and the referee says it was a knock-on.
They got back in numbers. Steve McNamara would have been lifted by that. Only 2 points adrift. It was knocked back by Marcus Bly.
You know, I find it extraordinary that Ian Henderson hasn't been used in this game. I just can't believe. Terry Newton's out there and he's got to be tired because they've been doing so much defence around the ruck. Steve McNamara really should be looking at rotating those players around the ruck because that's their vulnerability. They're not that vulnerable out wide.
The only problem, perhaps, he may be carrying an injury. You never know.
This is Paul Wood for Warrington, still going forward. Still inside their own half of the field, though. Sullivan trying to get them up to halfway. Fell, gets them over the halfway line on the last.
He has been instrumental, this fella, Michael Sullivan. The quick movement from, that's a charge down, that's play on, that'll be back to 6.
And he wipes the tackle count down, and there was a hint of a possible knock-on by the man in possession of the ball, Reardon. Logan Swan flicks the ball to Martin Gleeson. And Gleeson, still Gleeson. Oh, how's he stepping out of these challenges? He doesn't step out of that one.
They caught out wide. It was a charge down. Good refereeing by Silverwood.
Chris Bridge, back inside he comes. Forward pass to Paul Wood.
Just lost the momentum there. Got overexcited. Paul Wood thought he was on his way towards the try line, but the standoff, Chris Bridge just released it when he really should have held on. It's tense. Paul Collins feeling the heat.
There were only inches in that pass.
You know, the ball behind, wasn't it, to Reardon coming through on a second-man play would have been the killer.
Well, Sean McRae asked when we might see Ian Henderson. I'll tell you, he's just come out of the dugout and he is about to come into this match. This, meanwhile, is Ben Harris. Yestin Harris. Tackled by Paul Wood. Ian Henderson first touch, finds Myers.
Got to crank up a few gears now of this Bradford outfit.
Henderson, oh, it's a punishing run from Henderson. Fabulous run. And Shane Harpy's lost the ball.
Wonderful work from Breers.
It has to be a knock-on. Oh, they penalised them.
Shouting at the referee didn't help. I think Breers steals this. Yeah, I think the lazy left arm just flicked it in. Shane Harpy, watch the arm. Yeah, definite. That's good refereeing by Silverwood.
Well, guess what, Brian? Paul Deacon is going to do here.
Take the 2.
He's going to take the 2 points on offer to level the scores.
Of course.
Anything that's on offer now.
It was a huge gamble there by Lee Breers. But maybe to give away 2 points is much better than a possible 6.
20-22, this kick to level it. It's 22-all. Deacon has got a cool head in situations like this. Well, we're in drop goal territory, Phil.
Yeah, Warrington have got a couple of problems themselves at the moment. Henry Farfee on this right wing has been continuously, whenever there's been a break in play, stretching his legs. He's either got a minor muscle problem or maybe even cramp at this stage, but it's a problem for Warrington. They need all players fit and fresh. Raheem was also exposed then by Henderson running from dummy half. They need to tighten up around the ruck, otherwise the Bulls will come down the middle.
The kick-off from Breers. And here comes big Joe Vanganar. Just on, as you see, with Ian Henderson, whose first run from dummy half caused pandemonium for the Warrington defence. There he is again, gets the ball away to Cook.
Oh, Wainwright went very high indeed.
Henderson again. This is Yistin Harris. Now it's Carl Price. Carl Price taking on Westwood, and Westwood standing his ground. Ian Henderson. It's a question now of who wants it the most. This is Cook again. Matt Cook, 19 years of age.
We're approaching the 3-quarter mark, and this is a point where you've got to start sharing the work. The legs are getting very heavy. That's far too long. Not happy. Paul Deacon.
Not his best kick of the night, but he's put in some absolute pearlers tonight. Here goes Barnett again, but only as far as Myers. Sullivan and Paul Wood. And Henry Farfeely.
I mentioned the sharing the workload there, and you can see that the winger Farfeely's come in and done exactly that. Is he over the 40? It won't go anyway.
Brilliant work from Michael Withers. Warrington's last trophy, 12-2 in the old Regal Trophy final at Headingley against Bradford, way back in the 90s.
Been a tremendous fight back, you know, by the Warrington side. Not many teams can come and take the lead as they did at 22-20 after being 3 converted tries down. That is a wonderful effort.
That's why Warrington set a new standard with their defence in the final quarter of the game. Leeds only managed 1 point, the single drop goal in the last 20 minutes. They need to defend as well, Warrington, here, and they're doing that.
Knock on Yistin Harris.
Lost total control. He's saying he was interfered with, but he wasn't. He had moved away. Not within cooey of him.
He didn't play the ball properly either, but how many of them do?
Yeah, but that was a poor effort, and he knows it. It's sheer frustration. Try to take it out on the official.
And Ian Henderson and Ben Westwood sharing an opinion.
Don't be surprised if Warrington do something from the scrum base. They've gone the short blind.
Here they come with Coey Love, and now it's Barnett.
Just overrun it, Barnett, then. Should have come a little bit later.
Bridge pops the pass to Ben Westwood. It's a penalty, and the touch judge is on once more.
There was a raised elbow from the ball carrier. Has he seen that, or is it something in back play?
They're throwing punches. Don't know what started initially, but Henderson was throwing punches.
Ian Henderson throwing punches, says the touch judge, and we saw there was an altercation with Ben Westwood in the scrum, and Westwood, I think.
Well, you can see the raised elbow, and I think that's the reason why.
Okay?
Well, he's complaining that...
You just listen. Just listen to me. Okay? Calm down, all right? Listen, you're having a go before the scrum started, okay? You're having a go. You didn't even make back the 10, okay? So you're penalised for offside. This was a headbutt. Come on, let's get on with it.
I think he's every right to be a little bit upset over the fact that Westwood certainly had the arm raised into the throat.
I think the little break's helped Lee Briers, hasn't it?
Yeah.
When, I've never been a goal kicker, Steve, I couldn't even get the ball off the ground, but that minute rest he's just had there now to get his breath back gives him the opportunity to just compose himself, doesn't he? It's a big kick, this, in the context of this match.
Well, you're asking the wrong fella in me as well, Clarkey. And
Briers with this penalty. This for a 2-point lead for Warrington. Lead swinging this way and that. It's a 2-point advantage to the Warrington Wolves. They now lead 24-22. Whoever wins this heading to a sellout, we hope, at the KC Stadium next week. It will certainly be all ticket, the Super League authorities and Hull have told us.
the Wolves captain turns to the crowd, and it is a massive support that they brought over, and says, "Lift us, please." The guy with the drum has been non-stop.
Your friend Pickersgill plays the ball. Here is Reardon. Scragged to the deck by Myers. Just over 17 minutes to go. Whose season is going to end tonight? It looked like Warrington's after 18 minutes. Boy, have they fought back. This is Chris Bridge. 24-4, isn't it, the scoreline in the last 40 minutes or so.
And isn't it amazing how they've fought back and got in front? They're actually being more patient now with the ball. We spoke about in the first half how they panicked just a little bit when they were behind on the scoreboard. They had to take risks. All of a sudden now they don't have to take any risks. They can afford just to complete their sets, roll the ball down the field, kick like Lee Briers did then, and get a good chase and get numbers in the tackle. Don't give any penalties away, and ask Bradford to make the play.
Bradford have been kept scoreless in terms of scoring tries.
It's amazing,
for 45 minutes.
There was no fire in the opening 20 minutes from this Warrington outfit. They were extremely quiet. All of a sudden, they have lifted, but they've got fire back in the belly.
63 minutes and counting. Warrington just ahead. The champions with it all to do to come from behind, and that's the last tackle, and Bradford still inside their own half. Deacon to Harris. Harris will hoist the kick. Barnett is underneath this.
Very poor.
Marcus Bai turned it into not a bad kick. He didn't let Barnett make any ground forward. Here is Reardon in a real thorn in his old club side tonight.
Has it ever? He's had a tremendous game. He's never missed an opportunity to join in the attack. He's been solid in defence.
Wainwright to Paul Wood. Paul Wood hangs on to the ball. Tackle number 4. They're only just over halfway. It's a real scrap now. This is Briers. Briers gets the ball away.
Not surprisingly now that Warrington have that slender lead, that Lee Briers is wanting to get himself into the first man, first receiver. He wants to control things.
Kick to the corner and easily gobbled up by Michael Withers. Pickersgill and Logan Swan leading the way.
Eddie, I was talking to one or two of the Warrington players just before the match when they first arrived, and although we haven't seen much from him in the last hour, the big threat for Bradford is Shantae Harpe, and then push comes to shove, he's usually a player who can come up with something special. They still know there has to be massive focus when the ball goes near him.
Sam Burgess comes back on for Joe Vangenaar. This is Myers, gets the ball away, but nowhere for Yestin Harris to go. 40 metres from their own line. This is Ian Henderson again. He's pepped them up.
Certainly hasn't the needed, but let's not forget that Bradford are down to only 16. Andy Lynch taken off a suspected broken ankle.
Oh, the ball has arrived at Burgess for the kick, and it's straight down the throat of that man Reardon.
Steve McNamara will be furious. There's enough experienced players out there to get themselves into a position to make sure it's a good kick, not having to put the load on the shoulders of Sam Burgess.
Fascinating little battle within the match tonight. Deacon and Harris, who's ex-Warrington, against Briers and Bridge, who's Bradford, of course. Just held up short. Phil Clark pinned him out. He's the man to do something special, perhaps. Yestin Harris. Deacon. Wonderful! Wonderful try from Deacon. Overlooked by Great Britain. And Deacon has put Bradford back in the lead. It was credited to Shontaine Harpy for the run that took Bradford to within a couple of metres. But Deacon jinked and danced his way over the line for his second try of the night. A quite magnificent try.
Often accused for not taking on the defence, and he's done it at a time when his side was desperate. Simple dummy through there, a tired attempted tackle by the Warrington defence. Paul Wood was left standing, back on the inside. Boy, does he enjoy that. Celebrations all round, despair on the mascot, Wolfie. He realises, though, that was quality play from this fella. What a little dink, what a sidestep, and a neat little dive and slide. Sometimes you have to dig deep. Sometimes your team looks for something special. And Paul Deacon, as so often in the past for this Bradford outfit, has finally come up trumps.
Well, last week he kicked 8 out of 9 goals, he created 4 tries, and he won the Man of the Match award. Tonight he scored 2, and the last time he scored 2 for Bradford here was against the Saints, and Bradford went on to beat St Helens 28-24. Deacon, 20 points tonight.
It was very reminiscent of the try that he scored for Great Britain against New Zealand in last year's Tri-Nations, stepping close to the line and coming through with a big play. Players sometimes hang off Paul Deacon, but he saw the gap and he went for it.
Lee Breers with a deep kick-off underneath the sticks. Here come Bradford again. Sam Burgess, he's still going. He wasn't tackled.
What a talent. Keep your eye on this kid over the next few years.
Senior Academy Player of the Year here at Odsal. He's only 17. Terry Newton, we're entering the last 10 minutes of the match. A pulsating elimination playoff. Terry Newton again. Support inside him from Myers. Next Friday is the prize. Hull against who? At the KC Stadium. Oh, knock on. Oh, I think so. The referee at first said it went back and then got the call from the touch judge.
I think it was the prop Rahi that just grabbed the arm.
It was Rob Parker, I think. It's one of the reasons why he's so respected by his teammates. Does those little things, doesn't he, that can turn the game.
Excellent stuff. Didn't go for the ball. Went for the right arm. That could just turn the game.
Here comes Martin Gleeson.
How's that for confidence? Inside pass from the scrum base. Good referee.
It's suddenly become a very skinny 10 metres that Mr. Silverwood is keeping. He's trying to pull them back now.
It's getting a bit tasty out there as well. Players are getting a bit upset with each other.
Mark Gleeson clattered to the ground. Paul Rahihi. Here is Rob Parker. And Rob Parker.
Will they go for the one-pointer? I wonder.
Who will?
Warrington.
Why? The 4 points adrift.
Just take the point.
Reardon.
Great defence there. Terry Newton, he's pet them up as well since he came back on.
Kick wide, looking for Richie Barnett. Well claimed by Marcus Pye in the in-goal area. 20-metre restart.
What a take. Just got his foot into the in-goal area in time.
Well, we had a cracking match at Nosey Road last night, and we have had a second here from these two sides. Hammer and tongs for a place next Friday at Hull.
Is it up the jumper time? I wonder about this Bradford side. Will they be content to just get field position?
I don't think they dare with only 4 points between them.
They know that field position is important.
This is Harris. Short ball. It's Cook.
I
Four tackles gone, Bradford only just over the halfway line.
I think the Bulls would feel confident that Warrington perhaps don't have the energy to do a full length of the field try.
Here is Paul Deacon. It's another great little run. It's a great kick as well. Underneath it here is Reardon, tackled in the air.
Yeah, got to be a penalty. Matt Cook couldn't pull out of it. What a great take. He's had a wonderful game as Stuart Reardon. Took that ball there.
Matt Cook, 19. And he opted for the Bulls ahead of several rugby league and rugby union clubs. Been linked with a move to Northampton Rugby Union again. It's on his 11th appearance of the year. Let's hope he stays in the Super League, because he is another immense talent. Mark Gleeson. Ooh, long ball to Breers. Got away with it, but only just. They've got to chance their arm now. Time is running out. Here goes Martin Gleeson. Important ankle tap by Deacon again.
Such a talisman, isn't he, for this Bradford outfit? Just got down very low on the ankle.
Paul Wood is the dummy half for Warrington. Here is Chris Bridge. Chris Bridge on the break. Chris Bridge still pulled down by Chris McKenna. Gleeson, Breers, knocked on by Rahihi. Here goes Big Leslie. Here goes Big Leslie. Leslie Vinacolo to win the match for the Bradford Bulls. Vinacolo in the corner. The champions, I think now, will march on. It came courtesy of a mistake by Paul Rahihi. He dropped the ball. I think it was him. I'm sure it was. And Big Leslie swooped. He might be going into hospital at the end of the season for an operation, but he still had the legs to outpace the Warrington defence. And Leslie Vinacolo's try will surely take Bradford to Hull next Friday now.
Well, he's awaiting an operation. And it was Rahi. Couldn't take the ball. Breers just clicked the leg, but it wasn't sufficient to put him off balance. This is a man that's injured. This is the man that's ready for the knife. This is the man that has taken Bradford to Hull on that M62 next weekend. Sheer determination, and you can see that there's quite a lot of pain in that. Kisses the ball.
His 130th try in this, his 131st appearance for the Bradford Bulls. Deacon to add the extras. They're on their way to the KC Stadium. It's been a brave Warrington fight. Paul Cullen's men have taken it to the wire. There are tears all round, but there is joy for the Bradford supporters.
And it looked at one point, didn't it? A wonderful run by the standoff Chris Bridge for Warrington. Sidestepping in and out. And Warrington have got... Oh, no, it's come the other way.
Knock on against Warrington from a short kick-off.
Looks like there's a problem by Price, or is he just trying to eat up the clock? Warrington have now back. Time off by the official.
Well, it's been an extraordinary season, 2006. There have been many, many twists and turns, but Steve-O, surely, with a 10-point advantage and 4 minutes to go, surely they can't come back again, can they? Surely not, Warrington.
I don't think so, no. I think that length of the field run by Vinacolo has really just taken the stuffing out of them. It has been a wonderful effort, though. At 18-0, most of this crowd, I'm sure most of the viewers would say, well, that's it. But no,
I did.
Warrington really, really have shown their talent tonight. It's been a great effort. They can feel proud of it, but I just can't see them getting back in. I think the clock will beat them.
This is Michael Withers. Last tackle here for Bradford. Will Paul Deacon slot over the one-pointer? No. He'll hoist it wide, looking for Marcus Pye. Work for Barnett to do. It's a penalty to Warrington.
Well, they're claiming that he went for the ball as well, but if he didn't come up with it, it's got to be classified as a tackle. That's the rule.
Here is Sullivan. 3 minutes to go.
They've got to test their arm, they're just got to keep it alive, try anything. Maybe the chip over the top, they've got no sweeper there.
Steve-O, who's your man of the match tonight?
I've gone for the little halfback. The points that has just kept ticking over and over again for Bradford. Paul Deacon.
Second week in a run, Paul Deacon gets the Gillette Sports back as man of the match. Amazing, really, that Paul Deacon has been overlooked for Great Britain on this sort of form. That's off the knee. That was off the knee from Bridge, and that's what he's appealing about. They had to chance it.
Yeah, they've got to just swing it around.
It was forward anyway, maybe. And that's what the referee's just said to Warrington.
Yeah, it was in front of him. It's been a sad end to the season for this fella.
Well, he will pick up the cudgels and will battle on for England in the Federation Shield. Here's the man of the match. This is Matt Cook. Deacon. Yestin Harris. Straightens it up, Harris. 10 points. Less than 2 minutes.
What is it about this Bradford Bulls side? As soon as it gets to the end of the season, the sniff of Old Trafford, and they just produce form that is outstanding. When they went through a slump last year mid-term, they've done exactly the same this term, and they've come back.
Well, Brian Noble, the departed coach at Odsal, has been with us several times this year, and he has tipped Bradford to make Old Trafford. And I think Michael Withers has come up with the try, the hat-trick try, and it is Bradford who will march on. And they stand now 80 minutes away from a 6th successive return to the Theatre of Dreams. And it's Steve McNamara's first tilt in the playoffs, and hasn't he done well? Could easily have gone off the rails when Noble walked out for Wigan, but Steve McNamara has kept them going.
He had the faith, and so did Terry Newton. Terry Newton's impact in the opening 18 minutes was outstanding. He was the reason why Bradford had taken such a commanding lead. That was nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. Not that it made anything. Oh, I said, boy, we were lucky there. But the game was already won.
Yes, it doesn't matter in terms of anything other than the margin of victory, because Bradford were home and hosed by that point. But it was the hat-trick try that never really was for Michael Withers. And Paul Deacon adds the extras. It's 40 points to 24. It is not, Phil Clark, a fair reflection on this match.
No, it's not, is it? There's something in the DNA of these Bradford players, though, that tells them, shows them somehow what they have to do when it comes to big games at the end of the season.